I would want to introduce a young man from the Air Force. Please just stand up. Now I've become John the Baptist, so I am not the Christ, but the one whose shoe straps I can't even. Is that how the thing is written? Okay. So, in all your endeavors, try to prepare to take over. Don't try to overtake.
Permission. For those who don't know me, I am Lieutenant Engineer Allan Yesero Kunya. I am a telecom engineer by profession. Of course, currently I am in Uganda People's Defense Air Force in the Department of Air Operation Command Center. And 2 months ago, I was nominated to be a political commissar. But the person who appointed me, I have been with him for the last 14 years. General Masco, many of you, we've interfaced in UNSA. Some of you, our elders like Opolot and others, know when I ran for UNSA presidency. So this is preparation. Are we together? I want to thank Afande Katabaz for the consistency. We were with him in the earlier days when he was still PA to the Prime Minister that time. But he was patient. Many of you are seeing him as Deputy Director ISO, but he has been with the young people. Are we together? My short presentation is about mentorship and patience. Mentorship and what? Mentorship can be in two folds. There is direct and indirect. You can see somebody and inspires you from far. For instance, myself. Very many people, when they see me, they think I have been gifted, that things come obviously. Isn't it? But when I was at Seta High, of course, I took up leadership. I ran as the head prefect. And you know, it starts with you doing something for yourself. Are we together? Because if you are nobodies, would you have made it to heritage here? Do you know how many people want to come here? I know there are coordinators, NEC members, then the others. If you are not a student leader and you are here, you must be a very lucky person. Are we together? But that doesn't mean you don't qualify. By the time in the whole country, you identified. So I was still telling you about mentorship. When I was in O-level, I used to hear about a man called the Dr. Jesse Muyingo. I was in a slightly smaller school called Ginger College. And I used to hear about Muyingo. I went and told my parents that I want to go to Seta. They said, but you see, the fees here is slightly lower. Why do you want to? I said, no, I really want to do what? And my plan to go to Seta High was to make sure I become a friend of who? Dr. Muyingo. That time he wasn't a minister. And immediately when I reached, I heard that he likes people who are leaders. So I struggled so much. I remember I had only one OB in senior 5. You know, Seta has so many OBs from big schools. I asked him that my OB, that how do I run for for head prefect? The guy said, no man, here they normally give OBs of Namugongo, of Budo. I said, how do I? So I resorted to saying, I think I should run for a smaller what? Post. So I ran for uniform and language. So I campaigned like never before, because the idea was to be what? A leader, but to be a friend of of Dr. Muyingo that time. I worked so hard. I was always the first in the classes of senior ones, please, please. There was a club of Interact, so I would be the one selling t-shirts. As you are selling t-shirts, people know you. So I became very popular. So campaigns, open air campaigns were like tomorrow. I was more popular than anyone. The way TK was in Chankwanz, this recent election, you are not very popular. Because already you had an advantage. But the TK I saw in Chankwanz running left to right, they can kill each other. The way you see gold. Gold had grown slim. Just like Rachel in the National Youth Council election, I remember the other time. You know, I'm lucky I've seen many of you. That's why when we were in the National Council election in Soroti, many of you were hiding not to be seen. I remember I was brought in by Honorable Minister Balam to control. I know many people when they were seeing me, they would fear the bills. Those who wanted to riot for the 2 million. That one is another story. So what happened is that I campaigned so much. So one day we were in the lab. Then my friend said, but Alan, why don't you leave for me this uniform and language thing? And you go for head prefect. I said, but how will I manage? He said, just to go. Actually, he pushed me. So I went, I met the administrator. I said, you people, I think I have decided to run for what? Head prefect. I said, people said, no, how are you going to make it? I said, just allow me to take advantage of the situation. That day, when I went to speak, when I told people my story, the journey of wanting to be a leader in Seta High School, trust me, the young people voted. And that was the beginning of my story. Are we together? And I was very lucky that in Seta High, the son and daughters of General Salim Saleh were part of the students. And that's now how I entered that visibility. And that's the time now Patriotism Secretariat was starting. People see me with General Masco, they think he found me. I looked for him. When they launched, we were in school as students. So we wrote a letter to the president. We convinced the head teacher to allow us write a what? A letter to the president. We wrote to the president that, you see, we've seen you launch patriotism clubs. We want to be part of this program. The president never replied. So I went into VAC. Nothing happened. It's later, around first year when I was gambling at Chambogo University, that a phone call came. A teacher called me and said, you people, the letter I wrote to the president, there is a man called Lieutenant Colonel Masco. He's calling you to his office. So I and I think other 2 young people went there. We found him in the secretariat. They didn't have tables. It was him and Mr. Odauk. Many of you know him. He's a lecturer of ways of thinking. So Afande asked us, that what do you want? I said, Afande, we want to work with. He said, no, but here we are soldiers. Because Mr. Odauk had been in ISO as a director. Then he said, Alan, we are taking teachers who are now district to Changwanzi. Are you willing to go? He said, sir, we are willing to do what? That's how I went to Changwanzi. I didn't tell my parents. We were there for 2 weeks. The way you are. You know, most of these courses where you identified. Many of you have seen Seku Helen. Very powerful right now, isn't it? We later found out. I'll tell you that story. So, when we went to Changwanzi, we were active like this. When we heard the president was coming to commission, to pass us out, not commission, I promised myself that now that the president is coming to pass us out, I have to make sure I smuggle myself and I meet what? The president. That time, Afande Rukundo, many of you know him. He was actually a captain. When Muzei tells you this history, actually, Muzei, I'm very well, but I'm happy you have a 3-man army that will keep these archives. Are we together? Afande Rukundo was a captain. For us, we are senior 6 students. So now, what happened is that when the president came, everybody struggled to sit in front. Me, strategically, I sat behind in the whole building of the old hall of Changwanzi, many of you know it, and I sat near the door. I knew that at the end of the day, the president will say, can participants take pictures? I knew I would be the first one to do what? And the way I planned it is how it happened. There were 200 teachers, we were 9 young people. But I was looking at how do I become special? And this is what I'm telling you. How do you become what? Unique. Strategy. I got out, when I found Shaban Bantariza, like he told you, as a director, said, Your Excellency, participants want to take a what? I was the first. And I knew nobody will walk in front of the what? The president. What I needed was my first picture with the president. And immediately I knew he would call me because he would see young people even in this training. So the president calls me. I didn't know they are young, but I said, Your Excellency, we are the young people who wrote to you when we were at Seta High. Afande Masco has found us and we are now with him. Later people took pictures. So when PPU brought those pictures, Afande sees me with the what? With the president. He asked me, Alan, what were you telling the president? Sir, I was telling the president that finally you are with From that time, I became the side bag of what? General Masco.